Good afternoon, Jorge Aquino here. I'm here to advocate for the grant and my group is teens needing peer support groups, sober support groups, when they're coming out of rehab and trying to integrate back into society. Teens right now are challenged because they're trying to fit in with so much social media and choices that they can isolate. And that's what addiction, co-occurring disorders like anxiety, depression, mental health issues, that's what causes isolation. That's what's causing a lot of our teens to turn to ways of coping, whether it's drugs, alcohol, cutting, pulling hair, vaping. There's a lot of issues right now that teens are trying to do to fit in. So I'm here today to advocate for teens that are in need of sober support groups that they can share their experiences with and be able to identify, fit in, because a lot of what happens with addiction and isolating issues is that you don't feel like you're a part of and you're associated. So that's why we should care about them, because this is a big need. The presenting problem, their histories are a lot of these kids that turn to alcohol and drugs. It's the environment they're living in. Single parent, maybe it's an alcoholic home, maybe it's an abusive home. All kinds of abuse, physical, verbal, emotional, sometimes sexual, unfortunately, but that's the reality of it. That's the reality that a lot of our kids are growing up in those environments today, and then they don't know where to turn to. They feel lost. And to me, that's one of their presenting problems, that they feel isolated, they feel lost, they don't know where to turn to, who to help them. They're being stigmatized, by other people. And unfortunately, a lot of the people don't know, aren't informed, so they can't give them the answers. So their needs, in my point of view, and why we're advocating for this grant, is that they need an area, a room, a building, a place to come meet with other kids, teens that are coming through their certain experiences just like them. They've had to go to rehabilitation treatment centers to find out how they're using drugs, and that actually drugs and alcohol are but a symptom of something maybe underlining that's really affecting them, impacting them, their lives. Is it the home? Is it having to grow up and be a parent, to have to take care of the mom or dad or take care of the siblings? A lot of kids don't get to have that kid card anymore. They get it taken away because of the environment they're in. They need somewhere to get together where they feel normal. What is their normal? There is no normal when you're living in a chaotic, alcoholic home. There is no normal there. Unfortunately, that's why they use drugs, alcohol, and other forms to harm themselves or to isolate. Or that's where bullying comes from, because they're out of fear. They're trying to, feel that they're exerting some kind of control where they don't have control. Right now, resources that already exist, school counselors, clubs, sports activities, Boys and Girls Club, United Way, community groups. These are all great to bring them together, but they're not addressing the need of why some kids turn to drugs, alcohol, and other forms to escape, to try to better themselves, to try to fit in, because that's all we're all doing. We're all trying to fit in. Everybody on the planet is trying to fit in, feel loved, feel encouraged, feel thought of, feel important. So that's what's being used. And don't get me wrong, counselors are doing their best, community groups. And what happens there? Funding always gets in the way. Volunteers, time, space. Where are all these people really doing this thing? So that's why I feel using this $5,000, I've already have a building set up where I could have a Saturday meeting from 10 to 1. I've allocated monies. I've already discussed that my rent would be $1,200 for the year, so that's $100 a month. I would have snacks and drinks. It would cost me about $42 a month, which equates about $800 a year. Materials, journals, pencils, things like that. I'm estimating about $500 for the year, $42 a month. Games, puzzles, social activities. So it's not just groups, but also giving them things to do together. maybe go out picnics, games, sporting like basketball, something so that's just not so much of a classroom setting, which they're getting Monday through Friday in school with therapy and counselors, to have some fun, to be a kid. What is it to be a 15, 16, 18-year-old again? Just having some fun. So I'm figuring about $500 a month for that. $42. And then art and music materials with professionals coming in who are going to give us a sliding scale fee that they can do. So I'm thinking about $125 a month, which equates to about $1,500 a year. But I've already arranged with different groups, or actually individuals, who do art therapy in treatment centers, who do music therapy in treatment centers, to come volunteer on a sliding scale, still get a little bit of money for their time, but to help these kids, to help them try to express themselves. So many kids today express themselves in music, art, the theater, literature. No, not just out of a book. You know, kids today, because of social media, thank you, Steve Jobs, have expanded. Look at some of the phones, what you can do with the phone. You can draw on it, you can do this, you can do that. So why not give them outlets of expression that are not so mainstream that everybody thinks that they have to do? This money will go a long way. Every year, obviously, we'll be coming back to you to show you the progress. If you'd like to come quarterly progress, you can come visit the property. More than happy to open it up for you so you can interact and see how the kids are interacting, how they're doing. This is a need right now in our community. This is a pressing need. You're talking about the futures of America here. This is your doctor, your lawyer, maybe the president of the United States, boy or girl. This is a pressing need here. This just can't be discarded and wait for somebody else to come and get it done. This needs to happen now. And so I know that, I'm sure there's other groups here, obviously, advocating for what their beliefs are and what they hope to help, and hopefully all their good causes. But I believe that we're talking about the youth of America here. We're talking about our future leaders, our future doctors, nurses, policemen, people that we need, that are really in those needed services. COVID taught us about needed services, those essential workers. That's what we're talking about here if we don't help these kids. I appreciate your time. Jorge Aquino, you have my information on the application. Please reach out with any further questions. And I look forward to seeing the check in the mail. Thank you.